Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I love that piano music at the end.
Oh, it's the best.
Very,
Yeah. I did a
very
long, deep
soothing.
dive on, give me something that sounds like Elton John, Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
And there is nothing. I also went through the whole phase of like, I could probably just lift just the bass line or just the piano. And then I was like, yeah, that kind of sucks. And then I thought, well, maybe I could play it. And then I was like, nope, I'm not really that good. And I'm not going to do that either. So close enough, right?
Exactly.
All right.
I think it's good. It fits. Yeah.
For those of you that give an S, welcome to Where the Dogs of Society Howl with Peter and Jeff from Brandartica. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
We got a special guest today. We've got a brand new segment we're going to introduce, and hopefully it doesn't go sideways and resulting in, HR's phone ringing off the hook and
or bodily harm.
Or bodily harm. Yeah. Bodily fluid will be acceptable. I think a little bodily fluid, especially if someone recognizes that they're the person that we were talking about, then I would expect, or I would, I think that would be fairly normal. So we've also got, we've got a good guest, and we've got, again, probably a special appearance from at least one other person. Today, we're going to be talking about the art of noticing and why it is everything. Jeff, what have you noticed today? Anything in particular? Did you notice anything about your morning that informed or influenced you as you go about your day?
I noticed that we didn't make a plan for dinner.
I have a plan.
So I got right on that. I figured it out.
The reason I mention this is because when I'm reading my kids' books, and my wife loves books, I do. I love books too. But as a teacher, she tends to collect a lot of fabulous books because, our education system doesn't really supply a whole hell of a lot. Story for another day. Maybe A1 can solve it. I don't know. But anyway, there's this book by Kobi Yamada, and it's illustrated by Elise Hurst, and it tells the story. It's called Noticing, and it's about a painter who doesn't actually refer to herself as a painter. She refers to herself as a noticer. She isn't just putting color on the canvas. She's taking the time, slowing down to see details that most people miss. And I always thought that was such a lovely sentiment. And, that's what we're going to talk about today because I think it's really kind of cool when you stop and think about it, especially for creatives, especially for founders or anybody anywhere in their life. You don't have to be in the business of making things or CPG or anything else to take some time out for yourself personally to kind of take note of things and just see what's happening around you. I think there are signals and there's cues that we frequently miss because of that. And, that's what this show's about today. So if anybody has questions, concerns, or comments, feel free to drop them in. And hey, Kelly, how are you? And hey, there's Jonathan and Devin. What? So without further ado, we've got this great guest on today. We've met him a few times. We've chatted a few times. He's even weaseled his way back past security into the backstage area on a recent show. And we were like, dude, you really just need to be here. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, flap them, slap them, do the whole thing, move those phalanges about. And welcome to the stage, Mr. Rod Christensen.
Thank you very much, guys.
There he is.
Yeah, speaking of Elton John and tiny dancers, I heard that Peter. I heard that you have the legs of a tiny dancer.
I do.
Goodness. Oh goodness!
What are you guys about these socks, baby?
Wow, I haven't seen that since I looked through a kaleidoscope.
Those are what we call in the sock industry, in the sock game, we call those winners. Socks that don't stay up or slide down or just don't go up high enough. I call those quitters.
Oh, quitters. No one likes quitters.
When I, in the business, I'm seeing how disturbing this is on the other screen as it happens in real time for the rest of it. Alarming, really desperate, and
you're welcome. That's where, like we talked about, HR is going to need to get involved.
Yeah, the little HR light is bling, 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 bling. So I expect the fax machine to fire itself up any moment and start sending me notes. Rod, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you and where you are, and
Let's see a little bit about me. I'm a creative director. I've been doing design and front end development for 20 plus years. And I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yes.
I am a husband and father to two little boys. So yeah, that's my world right there. So when I get out of work, it's immediately they're wanting to ride bikes with me or play Legos with me or play video games and my nights are just chaos. So just one kid to the next, just play this, play that. So
it's funny when
you
have two kids, you expect them to like play together, or you hope like they'll play together. And a lot of times it's just like either one-on-one, or it's a battle.
Luckily, they are each other's best friends. They are great. They play together. They just I don't know. They love each other.
I love that. Kimberly Vogel seems to be a bit nervous, and her socks are too loose.
Yes.
The Van Halen reference.
I love that.
Kimberly, would you just? I just saw David Lee Roth a couple of weeks ago live in concert. I'll tell you, it was phenomenal. His voice went a little out of his range a few times, but it was super fun, super cool. Dave was just, my name's David Lee Roth, but you can call me Dave. Classic. And you're talking about David Lee Roth Van Halen, I hope, because there is no other Van Halen. There's no Gary Sharon Van Halen. There's no Sammy Headgear Van Halen. There's one Van Halen, people, and that's it. So fight me for it.
Purist.
All right. So life out in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yep.
What kind of things? Let's just start at the beginning. Like today, was there anything that came across your daily that you noticed and you said, interesting, make note of it, or perhaps that's something that's going to influence me later today?
Actually, that actually was one of the things that I'd thought about as I was thinking about our talk today. And I'd gotten up to work out, and as I'm working out, I have on my screen the Alien Earth show, right? And I'm a little behind. I just kind of like watch that just as I'm working out. So, 20, 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
But I was on episode 3, and it just struck me as very fortuitous that they were talking. So the Prodigy, I don't know if I don't want to give any spoilers away. There are no spoilers here. So anyways, the guy that runs Prodigy asks one of the kids, he's like, do you know what a prodigy is? And she says, a prodigy, she's like, oh, it's a child genius. And he says, I wrote it down too, because it was so, he says, what makes them geniuses is the fact that they're children, because children have access to a world of infinite imagination. And that was just a mind-blowing quote to me, because I was like, that is exactly what noticing is about. Like, children notice things that we don't. Because they're children, or because they, even as adults, you have preconceived notions of everything from physics to, you think that, gravity is supposed to do X, boom, drop the ball, hits the ground.
That's right.
But then when you watch videos of the astronauts on the moon and you look at it and you're just like, that's fake.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't register in your mind like, gravity's different.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting that we see, like, I remember hearing stories of, and it certainly wasn't in a public school system that I was told this, that, I have a cat over here, by the way, that's just going bananas. I don't know why. It's making so much noise. Hey, you mind?
I was waiting for an answer back.
Doing a thing. They were saying that, like, when the Spanish and the galleon ships first arrived, on North American shores, that the people, the people that were there, they didn't know what they were seeing, and there was a good chance they just couldn't really, their brain couldn't rectify what they were seeing.
Yeah.
So, like, were they were they seeing ships with these strange men and with pale skin and body armor on? They couldn't possibly have fathomed. Again, that would be like going back to the Stone Age with an iPhone and
Right.
saying, "Here, figure this out."
Yeah.
So noticing, I mean, for me this morning, I noticed that the cat, for some ungodly reason, is making all noise. He's got the entire house to himself, but he's decided to be here. That's by the way, that's Paul.
That's Paul.
Over there.
Yeah.
And Winston Leandre Bishop is floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, I noticed that the way this is odd. I woke up. I noticed the way the sun was kind of like bouncing off something in the backyard and then flashing into our bedroom, right? And I could see the reflection on the wall. And it was a really interesting look. And it was, it had movement to it, So what it was the sun hitting the pool reflecting that sunlight back this way. And it gave me this idea for a design I was working on that I was stuck on. And I was like, I could take that idea of what I saw. Let me try to sketch it out. Let me see if I can rebuild it and make something out of it. And, I don't know if it's the final piece of the project, but it certainly got me out of that unstuck situation just by simply looking at something going, what is that? What am I seeing? Where's it coming from? Oh, it's a reflection, but it's a shape that I couldn't possibly come up with on my own.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Love that shit, man.
It's like inspiring.
It is, right? Totally, man.
I mean, sometimes though too, it's sometimes there's things that are noticed almost subconsciously, I think, too, in terms of when things are organized well, and some people notice it, the details, and the other people it just feels right. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but subconsciously they're just like, okay, this is put together, but they're not saying it or noticing it. It just feels right because their brain is like, well, now I understand what to do here. And that happens on websites, I think, a lot.
Sure.
I look at a website, you look at a website, we're like, yeah, all the buttons are uniform, they all have the same shape, they all do the same thing when I mouse over. But for other people, they're not consciously thinking that. But subconsciously it's working for them. Their brain's noticing it, but they're not noticing it.
That's so. Yeah, one of the things that I don't know. One of the things that I was thinking about as I was thinking about the topic for today is one of the guys that I think is one of my greatest inspirations is Tony Fadell, and he has a TED Talk that's about 10 years old. I'll even put the link in here for anybody. They can watch it after the show. We got to pay attention.
We have bills to pay here.
Got to pay attention to what we're talking about. But go check this video out after the show. I watch this video probably once a month.
Really?
And he talks in this video about habituation. So he talks about the fact that as humans, we're wired to look at something. We see something several times over. And then our brains just go, I got it. I know what this is. And I don't need to think about it anymore. And I'm going to just shelve it back there in the things that are not important. And it's going to focus on these other things that it thinks are important.
Yeah. That's exactly.
But quite often in a brand or in a website or in a design, those are the things that are important. Those are the things that we need to question and stop and say, like, let's stop and try to fight that habituation and say, okay, let's take a look at this brand or whatever, this design holistically, take a step back and try to look at it in a broad sense. And then, so yeah, the three takeaways that he talks about are to fight this habituation. You need to look broadly. So step back, look at it as, from a world view, what do other people see? What are competitors doing? What are they, how do they look? What is, even I like to, even when I'm working on a design or working on a brand or something, I like to go into the Wayback Machine,
Yep.
pull up their sites that they have done,
Yeah.
so I can watch the evolution of a brand
Yep.
and see. And I like to. I personally am one that I like to talk to my clients and build a relationship with them so that I can talk to them about this as an evolution.
Mhm.
But anyways, we can talk about that in a sec.
Well,
So
that
he
makes so much
talks
sense.
about. Go ahead. What?
No, that makes so much sense. I mean, that really does.
Yeah.
And I think that that is his name was Tony Fadell.
Tony Fadell. He's the he's kind of the he's a engineer and the co-founder, or not co-founder, co-designer of things like the iPod.
Mhm.
So he worked at Apple. He also designed the Nest thermostat.
Yep.
Mm.
Ooh,
And
very nice.
so when he talks about looking broadly, he talks about that Nest thermostat, and he talks about how, back in the 50s, those thermostats that we all had on our walls, that just, it was the dial, but the UI was on point, simple.
You just
Everybody knew what
did
to
it.
do. And then in the 70s, they were like, hey, we're going to come out with these awesome, fancy, programmable thermostats. Everybody's going to love it. Everybody's going to save energy. And they said that they found that nobody saved energy.
Yeah.
So hard to
because
everybody
program.
was just like, this program thing is, I hate it. I
Well,
just
you
want to sit there
probably-
and manual.
You probably waste more energy because you're setting it. You don't know what you're doing. I mean, I've done it. We had new thermostats put in pretty like last winter, recently. And yeah, I mean, they left and I didn't say anything, but I realized, I was like, dude, I don't even know how to work this thing. I have no idea how to work it. And I was like, holy crap. I looked at the thing, the 10-page booklet, the 50-page booklet that it came with. And I was like, I looked it up online. I finally found one guy just trying to like explain it really simply, got it figured out. But at the same time, when you have something like that, that's not UX friendly, you've got the heat coming on at, 2 a.m. running at 85 until 6, and then you get up like, it's hot as heck down here, and then an hour later you're like, it's freezing, what is happening? Something's wrong. But that's something to notice for sure. I mean, while we're talking about design, the other thing I was going to mention is that there's there's so much noise in the world, and it's hard to notice things when there's just so much coming at you every second. So, for me personally, taking some time to go outside, taking some time to, even just go stand in the forest and just stand there for 10 minutes, means the world to me. And I try to get my kids to do it because it's important for them. They don't understand it yet. They don't see the point. But they will, I think, after enough repetition.
And I was thinking about, if we were to, I'm probably, I'm an older guy. I remember Super Bowl commercials back in the 90s.
Yes.
And if I was to say Super Bowl commercial back in the 90s, what's the most memorable one? Go. What would you guys throw at me?
In the 90s? That is a tough one for me to answer because I can't.
Or just most memorable Super Bowl commercials.
At any point.
Oh, God.
Right?
I mean, people
What
always
about
always go to the Apple, Mac,
Apple,
obviously,
Mac,
but I would have
the Budweiser
say,
frogs.
Oh, I love the
the
Budweiser one with the horses kicking the ball around.
Yeah.
Was a fun one.
Or even like the Taco Bell.
Yes.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Taco
that
Bell.
kind of stuff, right? Those are pretty iconic commercials, right? But then if I asked you about what was your favorite commercial from the Super Bowl this last year, go.
I didn't have one.
I mean,
one of them actually was disturbing because it was seal as a seal, and I couldn't even look at it. It was.
But what was the brand? What was the brand?
Who knows? Who knows what it was?
Who knows? So I feel like part of noticing too.
Yes.
So all of these companies out there, I think, are trying so hard to get you to notice them.
Yes.
That they're trying to just be weird and crazy and come up with seal as a seal. Oh my gosh, that's going to just make people
brilliant.
Clever.
But when the entire world is going crazy
on
and
fire.
Yeah, like it's noise.
Yep.
It's all a bunch of noise. And now the commercials that I think have been more noticeable from the last few years are the ones that are those long form commercials that are slow
Mm.
and they have Kevin Costner talking or whatever, or
Yes.
Billy
Yes.
Bob Thornton, the one
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
he's talking about the windmill.
Well, or Sam Elliott. You throw Sam Elliott in there.
Exactly.
Well, you know which ones were really good, and I you know, this is taking all everything out of it. Okay, I thought the "He Gets You" or "He Gets Us" or the Jesus commercials
Yeah, I think they're well
Uh-huh.
crafted.
were really well done.
Yeah.
It was exactly what it should be, and it was, as you said, it was quiet.
It was
was
slower.
slower.
Mhm.
It was easy.
Yeah.
And it was the way it should be. And that's one of the things
Yeah.
where I think noticing outpaces noise every single time.
And they
Especially,
focused on one message. They
yes,
didn't try to
Yes.
clutter it with,
get them all in
we're
there.
going to show you this, and then suddenly here's our Doritos, and here's everything in the world going on at once.
That's right. That's
They
right.
focused on one message and just made it simple, made it easy. Same with the Budweiser frogs. Like it was random,
Yep.
but they focused on, here are these talking frogs. That's
That's
it.
right. That's right. The
Yes.
Budweiser frogs
That's
are a
it.
good one. And Jeff's favorite, I think, is "What's Up."
What's
Was
up?
That's Jeff's favorite. I know that.
I do.
I know
I
that
love
for a
that. I
fact.
can watch it every
Um,
day.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's hard because when brands are screaming for
That's right.
attention, that's the point where people aren't going to notice them because our minds are just overwhelmed with all the
Yeah.
noise.
That's
Yeah,
right.
to me it's also that when, and we talked about this a little bit like with packaging and stuff in the past, with when there's trends and everybody gets on board with these trends, it's kind of the same way with even like, at one point in time, I'm dating myself, but like that whole MTV video style where it's very chaotic and moving around and the camera's rolling and everybody wants to mimic that. After a while, you get sort of numb to it and it kind of becomes very just vanilla after a while. And I think those commercials that we just talked about stand out and they get your attention simply because they're not that anymore.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
here is something landing differently for me now. I'm going to pay attention to this. So it's almost, and I find this with trends anyway, is that there's a point where they plateau and then it's just like a steep downhill from there that anyone is even paying attention to it anymore.
There's that noise factor too in other places that we've talked about in social media. I've often referred to this for clients, and sometimes it's a good lesson to, say to myself in front of a mirror, is that, if you think of social media as a house party, it's the loudest people in that kind of a setting are often the most, they're the ones you stay away from. The loud people are not the ones that people gravitate to. Maybe some people do, but it's when you see someone at a house party who has a crowd around them, there's two things happening. They're not being loud and they're listening. They're listening to what other people have to say and not just listening in the sense of waiting for their turn to talk, because we all seen that and guilty of it myself many, many times. But
Me too.
it's about noticing. Is also about being quiet, shutting the F up, and letting other things happen so that you can pick up on these. If you're always screaming your brand message or you're always selling, you're not giving anyone a chance to A, get to know you, or B, notice you. You think that being loud gets you noticed. It doesn't. It really does the opposite. You agree?
100%. The only thing I can equate it to is like when they first started coming out with alarms for vehicles, so that you would hear an alarm go off if someone was trying to break in. Well, after a decade of people having alarms, what do? Everybody just keeps going about their business. They don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah.
Because their assumption is that it got triggered by accident or the wind or something. And they just they don't totally ignore it.
Well, I don't lock my car anymore, so I don't bother with the alarm. I don't lock my car because if you're going to steal it, you're going to steal it. I don't want you to break
That's
the
what I
windows
mean.
while you're
Like,
at it. You know,
it used to be
maybe
a
you
big
just gotta
thing.
leave it up the road
Leave the
somewhere.
keys and leave the keys up at the.
Everyone knows where the keys are, right?
I know they don't need the key.
I mean,
That's
the rock
pull
by the
sun
stairs.
visor, pull the sun visor down, keys drop down.
You know, maybe just leave it running. You know,
Yeah.
just leave it running. You know,
Yeah.
Just drop it. Let me know where you're going to drop it off.
Just don't bring it back.
I've actually happened to not notice that I left my car running at work for about 4 hours because it's one of those hybrids. You pull in, think you shut the car off, you walk out, you don't hear the car going.
I've done that, and I'm on the phone in the house, like going, hello, hello. And, you know, my daughter got out of the car and was like, Dad, like, what are you doing? I was like, what? I'm just trying to get this call. And she's like, you're in the car. All I hear is hello, hello. And I'm like, oh, because the Bluetooth's connected. I hadn't noticed. Hey, speaking of that, I noticed that we've got our weekly guest coming in. I don't know if you've met him yet, Rod. This is a fellow we like to call the Kogan boy. He's from up the street, Mr. and Mrs. Kogan's kid. He's grown up into quite the young gentleman. Let's bring him in here. He's always got something to say. And you know, Jeff, you always put it really well. Robert's the guy. If you're trying to get beverages into Canada, I don't mean like sneak them in, you know, like so you can drink them over the border. Like if you're trying to get on shelves in Canada, he's one of the top guys to get this done for you. And there he is. Look at him. Just look at him for a minute.
Look at him. Just
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Peter, we actually do sneak a lot of beverages into Canada.
I didn't want to out anybody, you know.
We sneak them into the USA. We sneak them into Canada. We sneak them wherever they got to go. But you know what's hilarious about that? Not that was on my mind as I was waiting for you to bring me in, but I have gone through so much crap with, ironically, not the Food Inspection Agency in Canada flagging it, little lowlifes in the business, like drug dealers reporting other drug dealers. And, so after we got reported on, I mean, who gives a shit anymore? That high class operation known as Poppy, after they did a report after we cracked a 35 store chain, I had to play ball with them for a while and talk about stickers. And I told them, I said, just, you know, give it a week or 6 and you're going to see what a Robert baby tantrum sounds like when I find all of the language you want me to sticker up all over the market. And that's what happens. It's like, you know, reporting somebody for their grass being too high. Meanwhile, there's 100 houses with the grass high. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So what I've actually had to say, and it's been kept under wraps so much lately. And I'm in this mood lately where there's no reason to keep shit under wraps anymore. The Canada Food Inspection Agency is now I am now the CFIA, IA, the inspection agency for the food inspection
agency.
they have dropped the ball, and I got to be polite. It's nice people trying to do jobs, but they don't no clue what they're doing when it comes to this type of label enforcement. They're great when there's a threat on a farm. When there's a threat on a farm, they are top notch, world class to go protect our food supply. But when it comes to this Hollywood bullshit of labels and independent stores, and when you hear what I'm about to tell you, which is the update of the week, and you could say update of the decade, it also is it segues right in, because the real question is health risk. No human can ignore a health risk, you know, like the baby crying or the kid in the pool. And we handle health risk. I've been importing the CBSA, the Customs Border Services Agency, connected with the FDA like this when there is a recall. And that's really the test, right? There's a recall on a random product that I bring in from LaPerry Foods for one of my customers who orders 60 SKUs on one order. I get the call, the email right away, and we go do everything that's needed to make sure those 4 cases are accounted for. And if not, then we got to do the notice out to every store and the typical recall program. But anyway, since this isn't a full Robert Kogan half hour, let me tell you what the big news is. And it is sort of interplayed with this, because in about 2 weeks this weekend is the Canada Health Food Association East Toronto show.
Mhm.
And the big news, which I say is a decade in the making, because this crazy idiot thought that La Croix sparkling water would be a brand that would be worth bringing in. Also had an idea about Tate's cookies, Poppy, the Olipop crew. The movie rights are for sale on what a fiasco they are. And now, unfortunately, Odyssey, that company that likes raising a lot of money and making a lot of noise, couldn't get off their knees. And it was like a rehearsal, because Melting Forest is launching at the CFHA East in 2 weeks with the Canadian sleeve, fully compliant for mass retail. There is no buyer or channel that it can't go in. And what I mean by that is, the other great announcement is Sean and David are coming up to Toronto, and we're going to be exhibiting with Eco Ideas. They're a specialty distributor for natural health wellness. We're also going to have the Melting Forest booth. And if anybody's seen pictures or been to one of these shows where Melting Forest puts the booth together, it resembles what their packaging looks like. It's like a whole artistic festival of color and smiles. Then the other big news, which is also a little delicate, but like, how do we say it? We have a great distributor that handles independent stores, small chains, like 3-4 locations. And what they do is they take the product that is in demand. So IQ bar, Moosh with 3 O's, and it's not cotton candy. But for some reason, everyone loves this Moosh imitation cotton candy. Melting Forest and Perfy Soda are going to be available at the CHFA East, at the booth for elementary produce, where enough of the BS where all the UNFIs and KHEs and all those types are all talking about, oh, we need the English French and we're going to pick 4 of 8 SKUs. Meanwhile, all 8 SKUs are in 2,000 stores across the country. I'm bringing in about 20% of that. Demand is demand. Health risk is taken care of. Accountability on chain of custody and all that stuff. But that's really big. And it is like almost like a decade of work. All I'm doing is working on getting 6 pallets of Moosh, 6 pallets of IQ bar, 8 pallets of Melting Forest, 4 pallets of Perfy. It's all happening now. I almost was going to call you and say, put that intro on that shows me in the mental hospital.
Well, let me ask you this, Robert, about that in your world, things that you would tend to like notice that benefit you to notice and take stock of or note of. What would something like that be that you go, whoa, I just realized this, or I caught this out of the corner of my eye. This affects me. This impacts me. What might something like that be?
You mean in which category? You're talking about just a brand or
in the brand or in the struggle to, make those fulfillments. Is there anything that you go, I noticed this today, and if we just kind of embrace this idea a little bit harder, or I noticed this and this isn't right and I need to fix it. I need to go around this. I noticed something in the system that's broken. Whether I can fix it or not isn't the issue. Anything that pops out at you without naming too many names.
The thing is that there you could come up with a good list, because what comes to mind as far as noticing things that are wrong or noticing things that should be attended to, what comes to mind are the 17 different things that have been applied over the last 4 to 6 months and really executed. And it really is, there's tons of podcasts and discussions that are going on auditing your deductions and managing all that stuff. And the way I describe it is the best things I've noticed, Peter, are things that impact your margin that are staring you in the face. So we do the sale. And when you're selling commodity product like Coca-Cola, that's not hard. You're going to get the calls. What's hard is to do it with that razor thin margin and make it sustainable and worthwhile. So the things I've noticed are, this is great. I'm going to quote myself. Diane, Thank you for letting me work in the warehouse. The 30, 40 loads a month, I guess, is a good reason why I'm there. I wouldn't say this if I was doing 2 loads a month, but we're doing 30 or 40. And based on the time that it takes for Giannis to unload those trucks, I'm wondering where my 4 shrimp cocktails are. Because it takes 15 minutes and I'm good to pay $1.50 an hour for the guy on the forklift. I don't want to pay $3.50 an hour. So noticing things, and there's a lot of talk about this. Every podcast I turn into, especially on Saturdays with Sam and his buddy, it's all about margin management, and it's a very popular topic. So the things I've noticed are the death by 1,000 cuts. We're going to get 1,000 cuts. Let's try to only get 900. And not die.
Yeah, so I mean, Robert, you mentioned like some a big issue is like cases that are damaged and things like that, and how can you stop that from happening, right? And that would save so much money all around, right? And I think you had mentioned about putting in some sort of like system where it kind of packs it in, right, or something like that.
Oh, what do you mean packs in what? For just
shipping
pallets or shipping custom orders?
The pallets, so they don't get damaged. Because isn't that really one of the biggest things? Is that a case will get damaged on almost every trip?
Yeah, and it's another funny thing that I keep telling the Coca-Cola guys. They up the deposits on pallets because they're really big on getting pallet returns. Most of my customers are independent caterers. They hardly speak English,
right?
And me calling them to pick up pallets is also a Saturday Night Live episode almost every time.
Robert, I have about 250 pallets in my side yard right now.
I need them.
Yeah, okay.
Not joking. If they're Chet pallets, so that's what I was gonna. It's hilarious to say that.
We're gonna build a fence.
I'm on the phone with I don't know what level he is of Coca-Cola Ontario, Canada. Yeah, I don't sell Coke anymore. I collect pallets. I'm in the pallet collection.
It's the game, man. It's the game. I'm a pallet-trepreneur.
Pallet collector.
Pallet-preneur. Hey, Robert, we gotta hop off here. We're gonna go back into another segment, and we got to talk to Rod a little bit more. But thank you for dropping in and dropping some knowledge as usual.
Yes.
You have a great rest of your day. I noticed that you are in a relaxed state today. I think I could be wrong. It could just be all right. It's just the camera and lights. All right.
Yeah,
I got it, brother. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, man.
Take it easy,
Ciao.
man.
He is.
Bye.
It's that,
all right.
melting forest. Those
yeah.
Those
Look
cans are psychedelic.
It's a psychedelic product, man. I was telling him they really need to do that augmented reality on those cans. It's the perfect thing for it. I don't care how much it costs. It's not my money. I'm just saying do it. Let's get back to things for a second because we've got a new segment we were going to get to. And I just wanted to mention, by the way, that the weekly newsletter where the Dogs of Society Howl has 665 followers right now. So, if anybody wants to become the mark of the beast for me, go for it, man. Just click the subscribe button and you're my guy or gal.
Right.
So we're right there. So thank you for helping us achieve that number. Hopefully we can kind of scotch it past the number of the beast real quick. I don't want to really just stay there too long. Seems like inviting trouble, So as far as the noticing is concerned, I was going to mention, and you probably see this a lot as well, Rod, in advertising, some of the big ones, and we've talked about Nikes and we've talked about some of the other folks, they didn't just like pull this stuff out of thin air. They were listening. They were listening to culture. They were noticing the way trends were going. They were paying attention to what the world was not only calling out for, but ready for. And then they made their move. What do you think some of the things that you've seen that might fall into that category of, they nailed it? And Jeff, you too.
I don't know what. I think one of my favorites around Salt Lake was Snowbird. It's a ski resort.
Okay.
Did a whole campaign where they took all their 1-star reviews and put them up on billboards. And people, 1-star reviews, like people saying the mountain, the terrain was too hard, or the snow was too powdery, stuff like that.
Yes.
But Snowbird, I think, did an amazing job of just seeing, these negative reviews and just thinking, but that's what people come here for.
That's
Or the
bold.
people that come to us are the people like Rod who like to be on the double black diamond, and it's a powdery, powdery day in Utah. That powder snow is different than anywhere else in the country, because it's like floating on air. It's fantastic. So I love that they noticed those 1-star reviews instead of just burying them and just saying, they don't exist, blah, blah, blah. They noticed them, and they actually said, you know what, let's lean into that, because that's what our demographic wants.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's funny you mentioned that, because I remember doing a long time ago a series of campaigns for one of the ski mountains out here, Waterville Valley, and there was a little bit of hesitation about, should we do more than like show kids and families skiing on the mountain? I was like, my God, guys, everybody in the world shows kids and families skiing on the mountain. Can we please just do something different? And we were able to do something that, to me, I go, this is the part of the noticing, like, what is it that people always see? They're always seeing the same kind of styled advertisement that comes around the same part of the year for the ski mountain. And you're fighting with the rest of them for attention. So do something different. We had a whole campaign based around the things that, about having it all. That was the thing. It was Waterville Valley, have it all. And it was like, the fact that they've got the snowboard park for kids, they've got the expert challenged, black diamond. It was no different than any other resort. It's just, we called that out on radio, and we made some really funny spots with like old people in buses and, weird stuff, but it was a fun campaign to do. And what was different to me was that instead of pounding that, we did that, but then for them, the success level turned into paying attention and doing what other people forgot to do or weren't doing, which was that they had full season access to do all sorts of other shit. But what all those resorts do is they just stop advertising come the end of the ski season. Or if the ski season burns out, doesn't really happen, they take the money back and they don't spend it anymore. But like I said, what you guys are looking for is to notice what these people are missing. And that's missing that there's a 4 seasons opportunity here, and they thought I was crazy when I said, next year, I'm going to come out in the spring and ride the chairlift up to the top of the mountain with a video camera and film it. And then I'm going to come back in the middle of the summer, do it again, same chairlift. I'm going to come back in the fall, do it again. And I'm going to come back in the winter and do it again. The following year commercial for you is going to be an evolution of Waterville Valley throughout the seasons. Yes. And that will be your anchor. Nice. And they were like, and I was like, how can you not do it? Right. They did it, but it was just funny that anybody was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if we'll be here next year. I was like, it's a mountain, right?
Where are you going?
Where is it going?
I was just gonna say too, in terms of advertising, I'm kind of a data freak. So
you could just say freak, Jeff.
All right, I'm just a freak. So I had looked up because part of it for me is noticing is like, how do I get people, let's say if we looked at it in the context of how do I get people to look at my ad, let's say in advertising. There was a study in early 2025 that the users get this, 1.7 seconds, okay, is what they would consider viewing a piece of content before they either stayed and engaged or scrolled away. 1.7 seconds. Wow. So what does that tell me? Well, part of the problem I see in advertising is that they're basically making the engagement the whole entire thing, right? So that hook, it becomes the whole thing. When you go to a website and you see a hero video, it's supposed to engage you to stay. And then the rest of the content should be kind of normal in terms of its layout. And the same for like an ad. I think an ad, it should have that thing up front that really gets your attention, like, oh, what's this? But the rest of it needs to be, logical and informative and relevant. It's if you make the entire thing just a huge, crazy thing, which we've all experienced with ads sometimes. I think you lose people. You lose people after even 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, you
that,
got to get
that
them ready.
clutter. The user doesn't know what to do. The user
Right.
came there because they got interested. They
Yeah.
saw that header hero. They said, "Oh my gosh, like this is a really cool product. Now
Mhm.
what?" And you know, like as a marketer, like my job is to get the user from point A to point B to point C. And so yeah, you need to walk them through it. You need to tell them, "Okay,
Yeah,
that was cool.
it's like bring
Now I
it
want you to go
down.
buy."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring the levels down, right? You got their attention. Bring it down a bit and make it user friendly, right? Now, this isn't about like and I've been through sites, and I'm sure you have too, where everything's moving around as you're scrolling, and at some point you're just like, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
Like, I need to go. Everything doesn't need to move. I actually went on a site where they had this something spinning, and I said to the founder, I thought something was being loaded.
Yeah.
They were doing
right.
it for an effect, and I'm sitting there waiting for something to load.
That's the habituation
Yeah.
that Tony talks about. You're habituated to know this little spinning icon means wait, I'm loading.
Right.
And
I was
so
just
that company
disappointed when it wasn't. I was like, I would have never bought something from here.
yeah.
I wanted to mention, I just noticed that our friend Joshua Shirts
Oh, yes.
here. I don't know if he's still here, but I was repping for him today. Bella Tinned Fish
Nice.
and Seafood.
Represent.
Good stuff. I love it. I love it. It's rare that somebody gets the shirt right. And this is right. So I'm loving that. And Robert dropped in and said that 1.7 seconds is where Richard Moniz lives. Although there's no legal address for that. But yeah, Richard does like a package design tracking software, eye tracking, and it's really fascinating thing he's got going on. We have a new segment that we got to pull in here, and then we're going to talk a little bit more on a personal level with Rod, because we were challenged. Actually, Rod, you should know this, because I don't want you to be stunned or shocked by the time the show ends, because it's going to come at you hard. It's going to come at you fast. It's going to come at you from every direction. Somebody offered us $10 if we could get you to curse today on the show. So,
yes, that's true.
And I want that $10 so bad.
Somebody.
You any guesses?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
All right. Well, you think about that. Well, you go ahead and think about that.
Poopy diaper pants is not a curse.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a second-year-old, second graders attempt, but it's pretty clever. Right? So, Jeff, without further ado, let's get into this next segment, and you're going to be taking it away this week, okay?
Nice.
Ick.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
And make sure you say that slowly so you don't pile it together and it sounds like something else. All right? Slow your roll. It's linked ick.
So here's all the ick that I dug up today in my inbox and DMs. So this is seeking new opportunities, right? So, they looked at my significant job history and they thought I might be exploring opportunity. Guess what? I don't know if you heard about this, Rod, but there's opportunities in franchise.
Oh,
did you know that?
Ooh la la!
I've never heard of that.
Wouldn't be
before.
looking for that.
I don't know.
I'm glad that they noticed that about you and your extensive job history.
I seem to be ripe for the franchise because I get probably a dozen a week asking me to deal with the franchise. Oh, this one's great too. Like they looked at my webpage, which happens to be my email address, not a web page. And they said my email address looks great, but it doesn't rank well with Google. Imagine that. But they're expert SEO service providers, even though they've shared with me my email address.
Oh, it's a good thing though. Jeff, do you think that this would have had a greater impact on you if they had maybe done it in a Spanish accent or
I think so. I think that would have
morning,
really...
Joffrey. Let me just say, I looked at your webpage, Jeff, at brandartica.agency.com, and it looked great. Yeah. Do you think it would have maybe moved the needle for you a little bit?
I think they had me at 250 businesses ranking on
Jeff,
Google.
just for the record, I got one a while back that was hilarious. It was like, "Hey, Peter, we're not just another lead gen operation. How'd you like to drown in 3,000 qualified leads next week?" I was like, yeah, I don't want that.
I don't have time for that.
It seems really aggressive. I think you're physically threatening me in some way. I don't want that. How would you like 100 to 150 meetings a day? I don't.
No, I don't want 150 meetings. Do you want 150 meetings a day, Rod? No, probably
not today.
Right?
Not today.
No.
I'd rather swallow a bag of
guys.
glass.
Oh, so here's the last one. So we regularly support last minute executive. Oh, I'm an executive, I guess. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Executive travel out of Seabrook, which, by the way, is a town of 8,000 people. All right, clapping. Keep the clapping till the end. If you ever need options fast, they're gonna send me a pricing sheet. Oh, why wouldn't I want that pricing sheet? You think?
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway.
I think it's funny. I mean, you just get. I told you this a while ago, Jeff. I in my email I set up a couple of, what do they call them, permissions to throw anything that starts with, "I looked at your website," or just anything that's like, just rando. Have you ever thought about, "Hey, Peter, saw your LinkedIn profile and thought," I just set those up in permissions to send that immediately to spam.
That's why you're not getting my emails then.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
damn.
My favorite one recently was someone that sent me a message and said, "Hey, Peter, was taking a look at Brandartica. We help hundreds of women-owned and operated businesses just like yours create this, that, and the other thing to 10x their business. Would you like us to send you a video? We already made it, and we're going to send it anyway." And I was like, "Dude, what website did you look at?"
Exactly.
I always try to say, and Michael Kaminsky, am I saying that right? Is it Michael Kaminsky?
I think so. Yeah.
He'll let me know if I didn't say it right.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll let you know.
Rick House. He told me, he's like, I'm always try to be gracious with these people.
Sure.
If you can't be gracious, just delete it, which I think is smart. I think some of them I try to delete because it's so obviously bad. And then others, I go, "Look, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time and the fact that you've considered me for this, generous offer, but I'm going to take a pass. And if you want to stay involved, cool. I'll see you in the feed." That's it. Again, with all of these things, Rod, I don't know. I'm going to hear from what your story is. I always tell people, look, if you message me out of the gate with like an offer for something, you are immediately ignored, and I will not do business with you.
Yeah.
Just if you don't take, and I've told people, if you're not going to take the time to engage my content or feed or share or be involved in this community in any way, shape, or form, I will never do business with you. Ever.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any gems off the top of your head that you go, "This was unnecessary"?
Oh no, no. Like I was saying earlier, that mostly it's the ones that I get on LinkedIn, just saying, "Hey, we have this opportunity for you," but it's like all of the grammar is just completely incorrect,
Right?
And and I gotta say, like, ever since the title change, once I got that director title in my name, suddenly it's just, I get email after email after email after email about people that are saying, we can do this SEO work for you or whatever. And part of the ones that really bother me are the people that don't understand like what a creative director does.
Yes.
And they start asking me about leads. I don't care about leads. I'm the guy that's just, I'm doing the design work.
I make stuff.
I'm not the sales guy.
Right.
Yeah. Talk to the sales guy. And then they say, "Well, can you connect me with them?" No.
Nor would I.
Guess what? You have LinkedIn the same as I do. Like, you could easily go to our LinkedIn page, go to the people, and go find the person that you need to talk to.
So they probably already sent one to them anyway.
Yeah.
It's a
not my job to
never-ending,
connect you.
never-ending thing. So, I mean, so today, as far as this is concerned, and we got to have to wrap up soon. We were talking about noticing habits and audiences for designers, for websites, social media. You know, noticing. I think, in my opinion, I would say it is a strategy or a tactic. What would you guys say? Noticing would be what to you?
Everything. Everything I do for the brands that I work for, from the moment I start talking with a client, I'm looking up not only what their site looks like now, but what it looked like 5 years ago. I'm looking up competitors. I'm looking at their logo. I'm looking at shapes. I'm looking at colors. So people are always, people would say, like, why would I pay you, X amount for a website? Why would I pay $10,000 for a website when I could go over here and get it for $5,000? Well, that's because I'm coming into it with 20 years of experience, and I'm noticing things that they're not even thinking of, because they are just churn and burn, crank it out, go fast. I'm slow at what I do. I'm fast at the design work, but I'm slow because I sit there and I research them, and I take the time to understand where their brand has been, and I take the time to talk to them about where do you want your brand to go, and how do we plot that evolution. So that's what I do, is notice things all day.
That's right. Jeff, how about you? Anything?
Well,
what you want to say about?
Yeah, it's a similar thing for me. I mean, I'm always, my wife says that we had canceled our newspaper subscription after. I mean, this is years ago now. She's like, there's no reason for you to look at a newspaper. All you do all day is look for where all the typos are, and then call them out. And I said, well, it's kind of the way my brain works. I look at things and say, what's off here? Where could this be improved? That kind of thing. It's just the way my brain functions. And so, when applying it to work, when I'm looking at a website, I'm thinking not only about structure and uniformity and consistency with the design, but I'm also thinking, like, well, if this was my mom going through this site, would she be able to understand what these words mean in the menu? Things like that. So I think noticing is super important, because it allows you to really dial things in to where they can be most effective, right? And we're primarily talking about people who are selling product, and the clients that we have, and it's so imperative that the user experience is spot on.
Hello, kitty.
Hi, is that the cat that was making noise?
This is Winston Leandre Bishop. And he was not making noise.
All right.
Oh,
a little later on, we'll play.
Winston's a good cat.
He is. Every once in a while, we have to play nipple or tick with him, but that's always fun for the whole family. You heard it here first. Nipple or tick. You have a pet. You probably have played it and you don't even know.
Right.
I love being able to close on a high note like that.
Yes.
So
if you're looking for a high note to close on, you want that $10, right?
Yeah, that's the $10.
No F-bombs from
That's the big close. That's
no
okay.
Oh, you can't?
No, we need one.
Yeah, we get $10. We get $10 if you drop an F-bomb.
I know, we're not going to get
or an S-bomb.
Okay, well, I don't know. My I'll tell you guys my favorite.
Yes.
And I usually have an acronym for this. Okay, no whispering. I have an acronym for this at work. There's only a few people out there that know this one.
Okay.
And if I put FMITAWAMFAF in a text,
yes,
that's when I'm really frustrated at a project.
I see.
And what that means is fuck me in the ass with a motherfucking ass fucker.
I think we just got ourselves like $50. Oh, Rod, you're the best.
I love that. Send me that acronym. I'm going to start using it.
Oh my goodness! And now that is the high note we shall end on today. Hey, Rod, for anybody that wants to connect with you, how should they go about doing it? And obviously,
send me a link on LinkedIn. Send me a connection request on LinkedIn. Yes. I accept pretty much anybody. The one thing though is I don't really like the connect and ignore kind of requests. So, send me a request and say, hey, this is who I am. I want to connect with people in the industry like you. And there's a lot of people that I've connected with that even this week, it was a connections connection that started, hey, I'm desperate. I need a job. I'm more than willing to just repost it for reach and just say, let's all help each other out.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Right.
Isn't that what this is all about?
So yeah, linkedin.com/ I think it's just Rod Christensen.
Okay.
Awesome.
I love it. I love that we got to do this. And
yeah,
Kimberly,
Rod-Christensen. There we go.
LinkedIn.com.
Dash.
Kimberly Vogel, we see you, we hear you, and
yes, we do.
You ran an ad, and I hear you. You ran a Kickstarter and got mercilessly spammed. We have that happen with clients too, and honestly, it's like I kind of go, look, guys, if you put those paid ads out there, or you put anything out there like that gets noticed, you're going to get this stuff. It's kind of public business. It's unfortunate, but at least people are seeing it, or somebody's seeing it somewhere.
Right.
It's created a situation where now there's an awareness of you, and that has to happen. Now, with that awareness, things come with it that we don't want. So.
Exactly. It's like when you have a phone number.
Before I launch into some weird, segue into, I'm not even going to go there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was Where the Dogs of Society Howl. Jeff and I are from Brandartica.
Yes.
Rod Christensen is a creative director at large, and he is dangerously creative. And he's loose. He's just loose. So if you have, don't feed him unless you want him to come back. But by all means, feed him. All right, man. I love it. I loved having you here today. So psyched.
Well, thanks.
And
I love talking to you guys.
Yeah, man. This is a good time.
And I love listening to the show. So I'll be back next week listening to you guys and seeing what other people have to say out there.
Bravo, my brother.
I invited a lot of people to talk to you guys that I don't necessarily think I'm the greatest speaker in the world. There are a lot of people out there that could probably say stuff better than me. And I like listening to what everybody out there has to say, because that's what's going to really boost all of us, So
Absolutely.
Because you are a noticer.
That's right.
You don't just make stuff, you notice. And then you know what to do with it. I love it. Have a great rest of your day, man. Enjoy. Have fun with your kids tonight.
Talk to you guys later.
All right, brother.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. And we're out.
Hey, yeah.